All right. Welcome everyone to Mending Heartbreak. This is a breathwork experience for grief and loss. And whether you are feeling that now more than you have in the last couple weeks, whether this is something that is new for you or something that has kind of lingered, this experience is meant to help you feel connected in that process. For those of you who don't know me, whether you're watching live or you're tuning into the recording, I know I had some new people register who I've never met. Super grateful that you can join us on the recording. Thank you to those of you who are tuning in live. I do like teaching to a live audience. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Mel, and I am the owner and founder of Inspire Life Chiropractic Center, as well as my Inspire Coaching and Consulting business. And one of the things that I absolutely love is teaching and facilitating somatic breath work. I have been facilitating this work for the last 9 years, if not more. And it is something near and dear to my heart that I found can be super transformational by the power of your own two hands and your body. And I felt very called to lead this and offer this to anyone in the community who maybe is struggling right now. Some of you I know have had people who have been impacted by the events in Minneapolis and the shootings. And we know that unfortunately that is not a new phenomena in our culture. And I found that if we can be connected to ourselves in this process, we can step into the world from a place of connection rather than distortion. And so the reason I wanted to do this is one, I live in South Minneapolis. So I'm aware of obviously what's going on. I've had clients, some of you go through some of this, have people connected to what's happened. I know a lot of you are parents. I know a lot of you either tuning in live or watching this are people who work with people who deal with grief and loss and tragedy and heartbreak. So for those of you who are holding space for a lot of people, my intention with this experience is for you to simply receive. And Amelie, you are welcome to keep your camera on. You don't have to. It is good to see faces, but as we get into the experience, part of this is helping you guys feel comfortable. So we are going to be laying down, if you can. That's definitely what I want you to do if you can. You can do this work sitting up, which is fine, but this is going to be more of a guided experience where in the beginning, I'm going to talk a little bit more, and then you're going to be able to receive. But back to what I was saying earlier. So when I heard, what happened, I was walking around the Lake Nokomis, and I just again, this is also before I had this big trip planned and all this fun that I planned, and then this thing happens, and I'm like, how do we live our lives and still be able to have fun, but also process the real stuff that's happening in our community? And I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I ask myself, who am I to do these things, but then also know that in my backyard, there's all this stuff happening. And as a leader, and I know many of you are leaders and you work with people, I find myself asking, how do I lead at this time? How do I still appreciate my life and have gratitude while simultaneously not being disconnected from the grief and the hardship that's happening? So I was sitting there at Lake Nokomis, sitting on this bench, and I go to this bench often when I feel turmoil and I feel a little bit lost. And I close my eyes and I talk to nature. And I just got the download of help people feel safe. And that is something that I know is in my genius, that I can help people feel safe in their body. And even when things feel like they're falling apart, this is something that I've cultivated over the years, is helping people through some of the deepest shit that they go through, and helping there be connection and safety and transformation on the other side. One of my mentors posted and shared the other day, he said, when it feels like things are falling apart in the world and you're questioning why everything's dismantling, perhaps it's because you're here to build something anew. And I get that at times that can feel very inspiring, and at other times it can feel very hard and very difficult. when at times it feels like we aren't making progress, right? And so my intention again tonight is not to make all the stuff externally go away. I would if I could. And yet, what I know to be true is when we as human beings can connect to our own pain and our own suffering and honor our grief in community, we can shift the energy that we bring into our family, into our communities, into our neighborhoods, into your clients, for those of you who work with people, and not collapse, right? Because when we get so caught up in things, we lose our humanness. We lose our connection to our heart and we close off. And we all have our own experience with what has happened over the last couple of weeks. And honestly, what's been happening for the last couple decades since the 90s, right? And we all have our own experience with that. And I think when we can feel connected and whole, even in grief, we show up as different people for our future generations, for our neighborhoods, for our communities, because that's really where the impact happens, right? When we think of like a vision, it's easy to think about a global vision. And I get that, I'm an entrepreneur and a visionary, but I realize like the more we connect with the people literally next door to us, so down the street, like that's where real impact and transformation happens. That's where the ripple effect really occurs. So I'd love to hear in the chat. You guys don't have to unmute this entire time. You just get to receive, okay? I'll stop talking in a little bit, but I do want to give you a lay of the land of how this is going to go. For those of you who are watching the recording, please follow along as though you are in this with us. There is a power in, I think, being in things live, or at least going through the experience. But I'd love to hear before you guys get settled into maybe your yoga mats, or maybe you're on you've got some blankets around you. I just want this to be really nourishing for you. Please share maybe in the chat, like what called you here. What are you maybe dealing with right now? It's up to you how vulnerable you want to get. But I think when we can share as a community, even if it's just a small group of us, that can really bring us together and realize that we're not alone in this process. So if you want to take a moment and just drop in the chat, I can read it out loud. You're welcome to share your face. I know some of you are probably already like settled into your evening, but maybe just drop in the chat like a phrase or something that brought you here. Like, why are you here? What brought you here tonight? And for people watching the recording, you're going to get a link to this. So you're welcome to, it will be unlisted. It's not going to be something public. But you'll get a recording of this, and you're welcome to somehow share in that thread what called you to be here. Give you guys a moment to type on your phone or type on your computer if you want to drop it in the chat. And I'm not going to force anyone to share. If you don't want to share, that's totally okay. Or it could be something you're looking to gain from tonight as well. Amelie, it's so tragic what happened. I have dear friends whose kids attended the school. As a parent, we leave out parts with our kids each time we drop them off. Yeah, I know that is a very real thing for your parents. Thank you, Emily, for sharing. Krista, yep, I work in a people-centered environment of folks with connections to last week's shooting in Minneapolis. Just grateful for the ability to receive tonight after giving a lot. Yeah, grateful to be in community with others. Absolutely. Brooke, mom, facilitator, holding space, also lived in Minneapolis for years, only blocks from where the tragedy happened. Jess, coming here for grounding. My lifelong family friend's daughter was one of the victims and still is in critical condition. Yeah. Okay. Thank you all for sharing. I know that can be hard, and thank you for trusting me in this process. As easy as it can be to, again, be like, what should I do? How can I like serve other people? I know a lot of you personally, and you are doing that all the time. Um, and it's great, and you're really great at it. And so I want tonight to be about you receiving so that tomorrow you have a little bit more lightness in your system and your heart is a little bit more open, even in grief, because both can coexist. Not to bypass the experience, but to not collapse. Because again, if we are collapsed all the time, especially for you caregivers, if we're constantly collapsing, how are we going to show up to build the world that we want to create? I think I sent this in the email to y'all. One of my mentors, Kimberly Ann Johnson, I highly recommend her work. She talks about building the world that we want to live in and not being a bystander and not, it can be very easy to go on rants of like what we think should happen. And I think it's important to express emotion and rage. I think not suppressing our rage, especially as you moms, right? And considering how do we then become the creator of the world we want to live in a way that is connected to our body and our emotions, but doesn't let our emotions completely derail what we want to create, if that makes sense. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the flow of the experience, I'm going to do a little bit of teaching before each breath work and element. Some of you are familiar with some of this breath work. I do shift it up every time I teach just to add some novelty. So I'll share why we're working on this element and what it connects to in our body. You're going to go through an experience with some guidance. I will be playing music. I'm going to try to project my voice. I had Krista help me test this out. I will be playing some music because I think that does create the experience. And then at the end of each breath work we do, you're going to have a moment to self-reflect. And I will drop that question. It's just going to be one question for each breath work to help you reflect. Because as much as we can go into our bodies and breathe simultaneously with somatics, you can sometimes get lost like in it. So having a self-reflection journal prompt of like writing or typing it in your phone can be a nice way to integrate the experience. And each reflection question is going to be related to the somatic breath work that we go through. So if you don't have a journal and a pen right now, I recommend go get that. I'm going to teach on the first stage, so you have a little bit of time and then we'll get into it. And then we're going to end with some music and some more just connection breath work. So I'll bring you through a series that kind of opens you up. And then we're going to then end with some grounding. And then I'm going to just let you be in that music. And then you'll hear me turn off the Zoom. And I just want you to kind of be in the energy of the experience. So there's not going to be a lot of chatting at the end or really chatting throughout. This is meant to be like a receiving and experiencing moment for you. And then I'll simply say goodbye and you don't need to like dialogue with me. Like I've got you. Okay. It's kind of like a journey where, you go through this journey and I tuck you in, right? I tuck you in at night and you're like, okay, good night. You can just like chillax. Okay. But I also want to preface that so you're not like, oh my God, where did Dr. Mel go? Right? She just popped off Zoom. So letting you know ahead of time so you can relax into the experience. Okay. So if you don't, grab a pen, grab a notebook. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. So you can have that right next to you. I do recommend for all of this experience, you're going to be on your back. And while I'm teaching, you can sit up and listen to me and take notes if you want. I do recommend to a lot of you are professionals in the healthcare field or entrepreneurs, like just trust that you're going to get what you need from this and let it be more experiential and body connection than feeling like you need to take a bunch of notes to intellectually remember. I want your body to experience this, okay? And trust me, I'm an avid note taker at conferences and I got to get everything. And sometimes there's a purpose to that. And other times just like trust you're going to get what you need, have it available for the self-reflection, and then you can set it aside and just breathe, okay? Any questions? I trust if you don't come off mute or drop in the chat that all of that was clear as mud. Okay, beautiful. So when we start to connect with grief and with the pain of suffering, this is what is referred to as earth. Or some of you know the stages of healing that I teach at our immersions. This is our stage of suffering. And I'm not going to bring you through all 12 stages. We will be here for many hours, okay? But I'm going to guide you through a number of stages today that we go through in our journey of healing and living that relate to our relationship to suffering and to pain and to heartbreak. And each of those stages relates to an element in our body. So this first stage is all about suffering and pain and our relationship to it. And the reason why I felt called to actually do this, what was coming through my system is back at sitting at the lake in Lake Nokomis, I sat there on that bench and I just chose to feel, instead of doing right away, like, oh my gosh, how can I serve? That's kind of my default strategy, is like taking action to serve others versus connecting to my own pain, my own relationship to the pain of feeling the loss of, these children or parents or the teacher or, even the shooter, right? And just feeling that for a moment, just pausing and being like, man, like I'm just going to feel this myself before I take any action. And so I share this because this stage is really not about doing anything, but connecting to our own experience, to our own suffering and our own pain and what disconnects us from that, why we run from it. And I found the more that we run from our own experience of pain and sensation and suffering, it's much harder to connect to the suffering of others. And we almost become numb, right? Simultaneously, I'm not going to keep you guys in this stage the whole time because we must evolve, right? But we also have to feel these things in order to take more aligned action. Otherwise, if we don't fully feel it and experience it, we're going to keep finding ourselves back there, okay? So just, if you're not already in a position, I'm going to invite you to lay on your back and just start to settle in and just notice your breath. I do recommend you have your knees bent and your feet flat, and just let your arms be by your side for a second. I'm not trying to force anything right now. I'm going to start to play some gentle music, but just becoming aware of your breath. This breath is also what helps us connect to earth, the earth element, which is the energy of safety, the energy of connection, the energy of feeling safe in our body, our physical body. And when things in our community happen, sometimes it can feel unsafe to walk around, right? Sometimes it can feel challenging to just simply go outside and be. So this first stage is our connection to safety and being okay with the sensation of suffering. So as you start to connect with this, what I want you to pay attention to is somewhere on your body that is calling for more attention right now, that is calling for some more connection, that maybe in the last couple of weeks, you felt some tension, you felt some gripping, right now, and lately I've felt it kind of in my throat, right? That feeling of like you want to cry. And you can choose anywhere from the top of your head all the way down to your perineum, which is below your pubic bone. And I'm going to invite you to find a place that is simply calling for more connection and relationship to this energy. And once you're there, you're going to place palm over palm on that area of your body, just really, really gently. And you're going to start to shift your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And we're not forcing this breath. We're not forcing any of this. to allow your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, in that area of your body that's calling for more connection. So there's nothing to do other than simply be with what is, be with whatever sensation is here, be with whatever emotion is here, and simply connect. And I will be your DJ tonight, so you will hear me changing the music, and that is intentionally to start to guide you inward. Again, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and just connecting to what is, not trying to change it, not trying to fix it, but just allowing your system to connect to whatever pain or sensation or emotion is there. It's common to want to run from suffering, to run from pain. And so what we're doing right now is turning around and facing. Again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. You might feel your breath amplify. There might be a little sigh or some sound that you've been holding on to. Trying to hold it all together. Again, for your kids, for your clients, for the people that you serve, just allow yourself to be a little messy tonight, okay? You don't have to have it all together. You get to just be human. And in that humanness is really where our gifts start to shine. Again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Allowing whatever emotions or sound or little fidgets or movements are wanting to come through. And I'm trusting you guys are going into this. I can't see you, but I can generally sense you. Just allowing yourself to land tonight, allowing yourself to receive the gift of connection and starting to mend heartbreak. And the first stage of mending that is connecting to what is, not trying to fix it, not trying to avoid it, but just saying, oh, right now I'm suffering. Right now I feel this pain. And I don't really know what to do, and that's okay. Again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Such a keep with that practice for a minute or two. And the moment you find your mind drifting back to your breath, again, just present with what is, your body has been carrying, what your mind has been carrying. Allow it to be acknowledged for a moment. Acknowledge your pain, acknowledge the suffering, acknowledge heartbreak, acknowledge the grief, acknowledge the emotion, acknowledge the tears. Breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. There's going to be a moment where you feel complete. There's going to be a moment where your hands simply move to your side and allow your body to guide you. I do recommend as you're doing this, you keep your eyes closed as much as to allow your system and nervous system to go inward. And if you haven't already, I'll invite you to take your hands off your body now and just allow your body to process. Starting with that connection. I know it's very basic and it's very simple, but it's very important in building a foundation when we tend to amend things like heartbreak and tragedy. Let your system process for a moment, arms by your side. Your hands have a lot of information. And palms. So removing them allows your system to. And in a moment, when it feels right for you, I'm going to drop a self-reflection question in the chat. You can take a look at it, roll over, and write some things down, as much or as little as you can. Drop that in the chat now. Take time. See it in a second.
You've got a second chance. You could go home, escape it all. It's just irrelevant.
But what would allow me to feel safe in my body and connect more to my own pain and so I'm going to give you a couple minutes to reflect on this. You can write down as much or as little as you want. If all you do in this session is lay there and breathe and listen to me, great. You don't have to write anything. But if you are someone who has a busy mind, this can be helpful to hone in. So I'm going to turn up the music a little bit, give you a couple minutes, and then we'll go into the next breath.
You've got a warm heart, you've got a beautiful brain, but it's disintegrating from all the medicine, from all the medicine, from all the medicine. Medicine. You could still be what you want to be, what you said you were when you met me. You could still be what you want to, what you said you were when I met you, when you met me, when I met you.
Stop up any thoughts. Stage of breath work, so I invite you to get comfortable, lay on your back, grab a notebook and a pen. I'll do some teaching before each breath work, and then I'll guide you through. Okay. So as we start to connect to the earth element, what then starts to come online is oftentimes the water element, which is related to stage 2, which is all about relationships. Our relationship with ourself and our relationship with others in our community, in our family, in our intimate relationships, and how we flow among those polarities and our own emotions. And so when you feel safe enough It's not uncommon to unkink the faucet of emotion, especially when you feel like you've been running from your own suffering for so long. The moment you start to connect with it and realize it's okay to feel, sometimes the floodgates can open, so to speak. So in stage 2, we are going to connect with 2 different parts of our body. So I want you to continue working with the initial part that you connected with. And then eventually there's going to be a secondary area that starts to feel less dense and lighter, so to speak. And maybe you already noticed this area, again, from the top of your head down to your perineum, and just locate it. You don't need to bring your hands there, but just locate it for a second. Notice where your mind automatically goes. Trust your intuition in that. And before we place our hands on our body, I want you to now practice. Your breath is going to be in through the mouth and out through the mouth. So practice that a couple times. And make sure that as you're allowing your breath, it's not like you're sucking through a straw, you're opening up your jaw. Our face and our jaw holds a lot of emotion. So maybe just like for a moment, give yourself like pretend like your face is kind of like silly putty. And just like give yourself a little massage on your jaw, on your cheeks. I'm gonna do it with you because I'm in this experience with y'all. Underneath your mandible here, right? Like these neck muscles. This is your social nervous system. And especially those of you who work with people, when there's a lot going on and you have to compartmentalize because you can't maybe or feel like you can't just burst out in tears or be like, oh, like I'm so fucking pissed, right? Like you have to kind of hold it together with your kids or your clients. Just like let your like give your face a break. Just like, ugh. Maybe you make some sound like me, like just maybe opening up your jaw, sticking out your tongue. Your face has about 42-ish muscles, and all of those muscles are hardwired into your neurology of your brainstem, which is all about fight or flight. And so at times when we want to just scream or rage or break down in tears, but we feel like we can't because we have to hold it all together, this breath work can really start to help that. Okay. Our relationship with our emotions. That is the sacredness of water. Each element has a gift. So for a moment now, I just want you to place your hands over your face and just close your eyes, kind of take away any maybe some light coming into your eyes, even with your eyes closed. And just start to practice that breath in through the mouth, out through the mouth. And just allow yourself to hold your face. You know, when you were younger, maybe when you're crying a lot, you hold your, just kind of let yourself just relax in through the mouth, out through the mouth. There might be a little connecting to any emotion now. Just hanging out with your face for a second. Maybe if you have a loved one, you know, sometimes you walk up to them and you just like hold their face tenderly. That's the energy we're calling in. Holding your face tenderly.
I wanna feel it all.
Good.
I wanna feel it all.
Again, in through the mouth, out through the mouth.
I
That's
wanna
really
heal
important.
the world.
Mouth is also going to help us complete that
I
flight.
wanna feel
When these things
the
happen,
world.
we go into fight mode or we go into flight mode. We have to allow our nervous system to just feel and integrate.
La, la, la.
Now, in a moment, you're going to come back to that original area you were working with. For those of you who are new, we're defining an area of our body that we feel like has been holding a lot of heartbreak in the last year. Palm over palm, hands on that area. Allowing your breath to expand in through the mouth, out through the mouth. Not forcing, we're allowing our breath to breathe us. Your body knows what to do. Your body is intelligent. And we're just waking up that intelligence and that and in through the mouth, out through the mouth. And if it feels good to kind of make a sigh, just kind of that emotion, that water element. This again is that part of us that feels the suffering. Sometimes feels confused, angry, lost. And I want you to say out loud, at times I feel, and then whatever that contraction is, at times I feel lost, at times I feel sad. And I want you to say it out loud. I know you guys are on mute and you can, but really give yourself an opportunity to say it, hear yourself say it. At times I feel lost. Sometimes I feel like I don't know what to do. Sometimes I feel scared. Sometimes I feel like I want to cry. Let yourself feel and acknowledge it. Sometimes I feel angry. Sometimes I feel breathing. You notice an intensity of emotion coming through. Allow that, but keep breathing into it. Your body's safe to feel these emotions. We allow ourselves to connect with that is how we heal the planet. It starts with us. Now, in a moment, you're going to find another area of your body that's feeling a little bit more light. You may not be at 100% hope just yet. I get that. There's another area that's going to start to open up. And it's almost going to feel kind of an opposition. Like, at times I feel sad, and at other times I feel hopeful. Whatever that is, go to that area now. So for me, I'm on my heart. I feel that on my forehead. Okay, for you, it's going to be somewhere else. Find that now. Again, you're breathing in the mouth, out through the mouth. Find that area. And now saying out loud that mantra. And at other times, I feel hopeful. At other times, I feel okay. At other times, I feel connected. Go ahead and say that out loud. Hang there for a few breaths in the mouth. Out through the mouth. Again, whatever that opposite is for you. At other times, I feel joyful. At other times, I feel grateful. At other times, I feel supported. I know some of you have people involved in this situation and you've seen so much support come through in your life. Good to acknowledge that and not just focus on the one thing, but realize, wow, even in heartbreak, I still have connection and people in my life who care, who show up. Breathe into that. Now on your next exhale, you're going to come back to that original position, the one that felt a little bit more dense. Hang out there for a few breaths. Again, in through the mouth, out through the mouth. And just notice as you breathe into these areas, what's happening to your body, what's happening to your psyche. Is the relationship to the suffering starting to transform? Be with that.
small. It was over my head. I know nothing at all.
On your next exhale, you're going to go back to the area that's feeling lighter, opposite part of you, right? Because the water element is all about connecting these different parts of us and not feeling so much polarity, realizing we can have gratitude in the grief. We can have hope in the suffering. We can have light in the darkness. We'll come back to that.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Whatever emotion is coming up, just keep
I'm sorry that
your body
I
is safe.
couldn't get to you. Anywhere I would have followed you. Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Good. In a moment, now you're going to bring one hand to one area and one hand to the other area. So you're going to have two parts of your body in which your hand is contacting. So one hand in one area, one hand in the other area.
You're the one.
And start to breathe into the space between these parts.
Say something, I'm giving up on you. And I'm sorry that I couldn't get to you.
Keep breathing into the mouth, out through the mouth.
And anywhere I would have followed you. Oh, say something,
Let the music guide you.
giving up on you. Say something.
Good. Breathing into that space between these two areas of your body and your life and these polarities, realizing that there's space between.
Say something.
That in suffering, we can find gratitude. In heartbreak, we can start to mend and not escape either or, but coexist in those emotions, in those parts of us, the parts of us that just want to rage and get so angry and right. And then the other part that's like, you know what? There's something inside of me that's coming through from this experience in which I can meet and connect with people differently. I can build the world that I desire to.
I keep fighting voices in my
Feel
mind
complete with
that
this. You can
say
let
I'm
your hands
not
rest by your side and just process for a moment. And I will drop the reflection question in the chat, but just let your system process.
every
Rush.
single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Ooh, oh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me.
Reflection question this round, if it feels right to reflect what types of relationships I want to end and create at this time. So I'm going to turn up the music again and you guys can reflect. Simply be with that in your body and keep breathing.
When I can't feel a thing, you say I am strong. When I think I'm weak, and you say I am held. When I am falling short, when I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours, and I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me, oh, I believe. Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet. You'll have every failure, God. You'll have every victory. Ooh, you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I am weak. You say I am held when I am falling short, when I don't belong. Oh, you say I'm yours, and I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe, oh, I believe, yes, I believe what you say of
Reach out
me.
any last thoughts that you have. And wherever you're at in this experience, in this journey, know that some of you may be feeling more emotion than you have because you're giving yourself an opportunity to feel. Some of you may be feeling a little bit more hope. You may be feeling sensation in your body. Whatever it is that you are feeling, it's perfect. And you can trust the intelligence of your body. Like I said, I'm not going to leave you in suffering or despair, but some groundedness at the end of this. So keep being with what's coming up. So when we can be with the different parts of our life and connect to both sides and all parts, we realize that, and we become awakened to that we are the common denominator of these experiences, which can be both frustrating and empowering at the same time. And this is the stage of feeling both sometimes kind of stuck. Why does this keep happening, right? Why do these patterns keep happening in my life, right? In my body, in my kids, in my family, in my community, right? It just feels like you're stuck on this merry-go-round. And there's an energy when you connect to that stuckness of like, all right, I've got to do something different. And so as we've connected to the sensation and the emotion, when we connect with those elements of who we are enough, what begins to happen is we feel both frustrated but courageous of realizing, you know what, I'm at the common denominator here. And there's something I can do about it. Because if I'm the common denominator in this math equation, that also means that I can shift. I can choose to make the shift. And we want to make sure we connect with that energy of stuckness and turn it into courage so that any action we take is not from a place of distortion, but from a place of connection. And I see this is where I think a lot of people skip over some of this grief where they don't hang with it long enough. They don't connect to it in themselves. And they take action from a place of anger. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this happen. When these things happen, there's so much polarity that comes online. And in my opinion, from what I've seen in the work that I teach and how I facilitate as a doctor, is a lot of the times those people are afraid of connecting to their own suffering. And so there's a projection outward onto other people. And that keeps you stuck in the loop on either side. Okay. It keeps us stuck. And so that's why what really called me to teach this and make this available is we've got to connect to our own shit, right? Like we've got to connect to our own stuff if we want to lead differently on this planet and not continue the same patterns in the culture over and over and over again. So as challenging as that may seem, you also have a lot of empowerment when you really connect to this of like, you know what, I can be the change. I can build the world that I want to see, even if it means that I do one thing differently in my life and that ripples out into the lives around you, whether it's your clients, your kids, your family, your neighborhood. You know, be the change you wish to see in the world, build the change that you wish to see in the world, which takes courage. It takes a lot of courage. So we're going to revisit that area that you've been working with, that area that's my hope is starting to liberate and you're feeling less density. By the way, when you move dense tissue, y'all, like anything and everything becomes possible. You could have more pain, more awareness, as I talked about, more sensation, more emotion. But what that also means is you have more access to expansion, more light, more love, because it's not bound as defense in your body. When we keep the defense strategies going and we keep the armor on, our language is different, our tonality is different. We snap at people and we don't consider all things involved. We become very reactionary. And social media is a really great place if you want to hang out in reactionary tension. I don't recommend it, but it's a thing. So let's come back to that original area that is probably starting to change a little bit. And I want you to hang out there still. We're going to come back to that area, except now we're going to start to work with some fire breath. Because the energy of connecting to stuckness is one that requires us to be a little bit more with our intensity. So the fire element, and this is kind of a combination of stage 3 and 4. Those of you who have gone through this 12 stages with me, stage 3 is connection to stuckness. Stage 4 is really, reclaiming our power. When we've felt betrayed, when we felt heartbreak, when we connect enough with our emotions and our suffering, the energy changes where it says, you know what, enough of this. You connect enough with your own heartbreak, you start to see and feel the heartbreak of the world, and you say, you know what, I'm going to be the change. And that's going to take courage. It's going to take connection to your own power, your own sovereignty, and your own leadership. But a lot of people try to lead and do stuff to make things happen before they've connected with their own stuff, you know, and you can probably sense that in certain leaders where they're connected to who they are versus what I would say is maybe more performative, where they're just doing things because they think that's what they should do versus like, what is my stuff here? Like, where am I taking responsibility? Where am I not owning up to things, right? So anyway, I digress. We're going to connect to that area, and your breath is now going to be in through the nose, out through the nose. So just practice that for a second before we get into it. And we're not going to speed up the breath. We're just going to kind of intensify it. And as you exhale, you're going to kind of sink your hands in that area of like, this is where I really get stuck. This is where that same pattern shows up. Like when this stuff happens in my community, I feel it in this area. You might need to blow your nose a little bit. So start to, if you're not already there, bring your hands to that area and start to connect breath in through the nose, out through the nose. And as you exhale, I want you to sink into the tissue a little bit and provide a little bit more feedback into your neurology. So kind of like, oh, like sinking. And you might even curl as you get into it more. So keep going as I teach, in through the nose. out through the nose. Sometimes sound and like going into the density of the tissue. And imagine as though your hand is kind of sinking on your exhale into the fascia, into the bone, all the way into like the muscle. And if you're on your heart, maybe you start to feel like, oh, I feel like I'm sinking into my actual like heart tissue, my lungs. And then as you inhale, you're gonna lighten up. Exhale, sink. And I'm just making sound that's aligned for me. You can make sound whatever is authentic for you. And as you play with that, I want you to kind of imagine like you're moving your hands on your tissue up, down, and you're going to find a point of tension where, oh, when I go up, I feel more stuckness. Okay, breathe into that. So, and then you're going to go right to left. Which direction, right to left, do you feel even more intensity? Like, and your face may change, right? And keep going as I teach you. We're kind of amplifying the energy here, okay? This is like a combo of fire and like mineral elements here with still a little bit of water because we're not quite yet to like empowerment, but we're like, sometimes I feel so stuck. And if that feels important to say out loud, again, at times I can feel so stuck. Inhale back off. Exhale. Sink into that portal. Good. On your next inhale, we're going to shift back to nose mouth for a second. We're going to back off the intensity. So I kind of helped you dip your toes into that fire, right? Just to like build the energy. But now we're going to back off and go back to more of an earth breath. Okay. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. So even just notice the difference there when you kind of back off the intensity. You're like, oh, okay, I have a little bit of relief here, right? I don't have to like do all the time and like be the one to like save the planet. Just like taking a moment for you to receive. And some of you know I play this song all the time at our immersions, but before I play it, we're just going to go through this prayer for a second. And it's the Ho'oponopono prayer. So I want you to imagine before we say this out loud that you're connecting with that younger child of you. And maybe there's a kid that you know who's been involved in what's been happening. And your inner child at that age, I want you to connect with that part of you, okay? That part of you that at times feels afraid. You know, a lot of you are really badass, amazing people, and we all have this inner child that sometimes feels really afraid, where we don't want to get dropped off at school. We don't want to go into that building. And we're afraid. And I want you to be with that person, be with that child for a second. Look them in the eye. Keep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth in that area. We're not going into intensity quite yet again. We're going to back off. And I want you to imagine you're looking them in the eye and you're maybe kneeling down and having a conversation, taking their hands. And maybe they just went through something really scary. And at times you feel like you just can't be with it and you have to run away. And this time you're going to stay. And you're going to look at that little child and say, I'm so sorry. And it's really important, I think, even if you just whisper this out loud, like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I ran away from you. I was scared. And I'm so sorry I ran away. And keep repeating after me, I'm here now and I'm listening. I'm here now and I'm listening. Please forgive me. And now I want you to imagine you're that child and you're looking back at your older self, the version of you that you wish was there at times that you felt afraid as a kid. And just look at them and say, thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being here in my heartbreak. Now taking a zoom out and seeing both of you, this older version and this younger version, and say, I love you. Acknowledging yourself, I love you. Just keep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Again, this is one of my favorite songs, so allow you to just be in this for a moment, and you can keep your hands on your body or let your arms by your side and just give it this energy for a moment.
I knew it would end this way. Two broken hearts on a rainy day. There isn't much left to say. We both know it's time for us to go our own ways. Surrender to this moment. There is no one to blame. There is no right or wrong here. Only lessons in love and pain. We did what we were meant to do. I was me and you were you. Finally ready to see this whole thing through. I'm sorry, I forgive you. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, I forgive you. Thank you, I love you. Love the one who judges, love the one who lies, for they are the one who's hurting deepest down inside. Truth is found in the moments when we come back to ourselves, when we ride the waves of emotion instead of getting caught in the swells. I'm sorry, I forgive you. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, I forgive you. Thank you, I love you.
Breathing. Even if your hands are up your body, I want you to keep breathing and just be present, knowing that your body's safe.
I know you didn't mean to hurt me. I know you are in pain. For the times I was hurting, I hurt others. I wanted them to feel the same. When I go into the heartache, I dive as deep as I can go. And I end up at the bottom, face to face with my very own soul. It says I've been here all along, and then it smiles.
Start to come to a little bit. Start to locate your body, maybe your hands, your toes. If you moved a little bit, come back to that position on your back. Bringing your breath back to into the nose, out to the mouth.
Right below the fear and the pain.
The water element is about reconciliation
So
with the parts of
I
ourselves that
heart with
we
my
have run
very
from.
own love and I radiate it out.
And when we can't be with those parts of ourselves that are
I said
suffering or angry or
it
afraid,
begins and
we
well,
project.
for I know that to love you, I must
Not
first
just us on this call,
love
humanity.
myself. I'm sorry I
So in a moment, you're
forgive
gonna
you.
come back to a position of your body that's starting to feel a little bit more
I love
connected, light,
you. I'm
maybe even a
sorry
little bit more
I
hopeful or
forgive
connected with a sense of empowerment.
you. I love you. I'm sorry
Maybe it's that younger version of you that
I
can grow up and be a little bit more courageous now, knowing that they're seen and heard and acknowledged, and join you in what you are building for yourself, for your family, for your partnership, for your clients, for the world. Go ahead and bring your hands to that area. And it could be different. It could have changed. Again, wherever you're feeling a little bit more a sense of sovereignty, a sense of self-responsibility, of personal leadership. And even if it's a tiny bit more than when you started this call, great. I'm not saying you're, about to go run for president, although maybe you should. But just a sense of widening, like, okay, I can kind of breathe here. I've got some space. I'm not so collapsed in the heartbreak, but I'm starting to feel the tissues of that heartbreak slowly start to mend and get stronger. Bring your hands there. And now we're going to revisit some of that fire breath. So you're going to start to bring your breath in through the nose, out through the nose. And I'm going to go right into the music so we can continue this. And you're going to notice that change. So you might start to sync your breath with this music, with the drums. And you don't need to go fast, but just start to feel that energy building in this area. In through the nose, out through the nose. Fire energy allows us to reclaim the things we feel we've lost in heartbreak, but we simply just forget. This is also where it's okay to feel a little bit of intensity, of courage, of fierceness, standing up for yourself, reclaiming your leadership, your power, your courage, your sovereignty. Again, in through the nose, out through the nose. The ability to lead courageously and create change from a place of connection and sovereignty that also honors the sovereignty of it. In through the nose, out the nose. Maybe you amplify or speed it up just a little bit. I like to imagine an animal in this breath work that I feel is powerful. So maybe whatever that is for you, kind of embodying that, like what is that animal that you know is courageous, that even in the midst of tragedy and heartbreak and chaos, you can stand strong knowing that I am here to build something different. I am here to embody the change. Not just do it, but I'm here to become it. I'm here to be it. Breathe into the nose, out through the nose. Speed it up or slow it down. Again, remember, we're building this energy on top of connecting to heartbreaking grief. So we're not We're not getting rid of that, but we're building that energy where you can still be connected to those emotions. You can still be connected to those parts of you. We're not getting rid of them. They're coming with us. So that when you step out into the world in your service for humanity, you have the ability to connect to that energy in other people because you've connected to it in yourself. Again, in through the nose, out through the nose. And that takes courage. That takes courage to alchemize heartbreak. That takes courage to feel our emotions as leaders and not run away from it and not pretend we don't have heartbreak. It's simultaneously being courageous in heartbreak. Again, in through the nose, out through the nose. Feel that energy rise in your body. And at this point, it might feel a little bit more intense. And I just kind of want you to ride that edge for a second of like, oh, I take my power back. I take my leadership back. I take my sovereignty back. And if any of those feel in alignment with you, any of those words feel in alignment with you, you can say that out loud. I take my courage back. I take my strength back. I take my energy back. And in doing that, you also honor the courage and the sovereignty and the strength of others in our community. And stay present into the nose, out through the nose. Kind of ride that energy with the music. You're like a big dragon. Okay. Enough is enough. I'm going to take my power back. I'm done with these patterns in my life. And when I choose to be done with these patterns in my life, I know that that translates to the world around me because we see the world as we are. Good. Keep breathing. 30 seconds more. See if there's an edge that maybe you want to meet. Like, yeah, how can I find my power? But also honoring challenge. Into the nose, out the nose. Slow it down. Bring your hands by your side and just let your body process this for a second. You can come back to any breath you want. If nose is feeling connected for you, great. But just breathe however you want. Bring your hands by your side and just kind of ride this energy. Let your body move. Let your body process. There might be some sound. Move more of that intensity in your body. And in a moment, I'm going to drop your reflection question in the chat. Let your body process first. Any movement, any motions, any sound. You might have some like shaking. So we're kind of raising the heat in our bodies. So like blood flow. That's a form of feeling heat, feeling intensity. So when you breathe and just kind of make sound, that can allow you to be with some of that intensity a little bit more, with a little bit more temperance. And if you aren't already, take a look. The question is, what inspired, empowered action can I take at this time that feels aligned with my purpose? And again, you may be liking the reflection. You may be like, I'm just going to lay here, Mel. That's totally fine. I can't see you, so I can't report you. Oh, your journey. Give you a couple minutes to reflect on that. I'm going to change a little bit as we shift the energy now. you're in a state of reflection, I'll offer to you that sometimes empowered action is doing less. And again, I know a lot of you serve a lot of people in your day-to-day life, and it can be easy to burn out because you care so much. And to create potent, impactful service for the world, we also must honor and tend to our energy. Otherwise, we can only serve so many people for an importance, right? And I get that sometimes that can bring up some guilt, right? Like people suffering, there's people to help. But I can promise you, when you are filled up, you're going to create a way more sustainable, deeper impact. So again, what inspired, empowered action can I take at this time that feels aligned with mine? So is that setting some boundaries? Or is it something else? Is there a charity or a family you want to donate? Is it simply texting a friend you know who has been impacted and say, hey, I'm thinking about you at this time? I don't know what that is for you, but this question, allow it to bring about something in your consciousness that feels aligned for your purpose on this planet. Tragedy and heartbreak is a really interesting way of bringing people together and sometimes cracking us open of what actually really matters. And I wish it weren't that way, but I haven't found a time that hasn't been the case, at least in my own life, experiencing things in humanity. And so I think it's important to not forget that action in our purpose won't necessarily need the heartbreak for us to remember as we transition into our last energy of the air element. And the air element is all about connecting to the soul and the energy that connects us all. Soul energy, soul intelligence, which is represented by air, is the energy that permeates all of life and that weaves us all together in both heartbreak and gratitude and sorrow and success. You know, many of you came here tonight and are watching this recording because of the soul intelligence, realizing that when these things happen, it impacts all of us, and there's a connection among all of us, and we deeply feel that in our soul, in the souls of us and the souls of our future generation. And when we can connect to this energy and this element in our body, it allows our heart to remain open, even in the most challenging situations, to be able to overcome our own suffering, to then serve others from a place of love. That's soul energy. So I do recommend in this one to really work with your heart space. If you haven't already been working there, I do recommend it. So in this one, what we're going to do is we're going to start to bring our breath in through the mouth, out through the nose. And you're going to imagine, and you can kind of play with this in a second, but if you don't have to look at the screen, I'll do my best to describe it. But we're going to take our hands very gently, our fingertips on our heart, and we're going to expand our arms out like you're holding a big beach ball. So your fingertips are going to be pointing down at your heart, and your arms are going to be up. You don't have to do it yet because I don't want your arms hanging there for like 10 minutes, right? You might get a little tired. But as you inhale through the mouth, I want you to feel that expansion from not only your heart, but that area you've been working with and alchemizing. I want you to feel that expansion in your heart space into the space around you, into this big giant ball. And I want you to imagine this ball is like a ball of light, a ball of love. Like if you were holding the planet and the planet turned to light and love, and we were all connected and hugging each other and holding each other. That's what I want you to feel and imagine in your heart. Like you Your arms are wrapping around the globe and you can just give the globe one big hug, okay? So practice that right here with me. Again, in through the mouth, out and out. And as you inhale through the mouth, you're going to kind of imagine as you stand into the globe of light, heart lifts into and out the nose. You feel like you're kind of squeezing that light back into your chest. Stay grounded in through the mouth and on the top of your heart, out through the nose. Go at your own pace, go at your own rhythm. Allow the breath to take over. Let this feel really good. Let the music feel good, guide you. Again, just connecting to our soul and the soul of humanity. The energy that brings us together, even when times are tough, even when there's heartbreak and challenge. The energy of people coming together to support families, to support each other just out of the pure love of their heart. No expectation. Feel that in your body, feel that in your heart. And maybe there's moments in these last couple weeks you really felt that, where wow, that person really showed up out of the kindness of their heart. And in through the mouth, breathing into this ball of light, merging with this ball of light on this planet, planetary ball of light. Exhale through the nose. Going slow, allowing the breath to almost breathe you and let it be expansive. Like you're breathing into your entire body, all the space between, like you're breathing into this Zoom call, you're breathing into your entire home. And imagine that breath expanding out into your neighborhood and touching parts of your neighbors. And they may not know it cognitively, but when you set intention, you send that energy out, they will feel it. Bring them into this too. And imagine now as you expand that breath like a big ball of light, it's expanding into your neighborhood. I want you to imagine that it expands into the city. All the families, all the teachers, all the people at this school, and even the family of the shooter. Sending that love and light to them for a moment. And we may not know what they're going through. We may not have any idea. But just breathe that in your body, love and light. And receive that. Slowly come back to you. Come back to your energy. Bring your hands back to your heart. Allowing one or two more breaths in through the mouth, out through the nose, hands now on your physical heart. Just allow yourself to receive this. Back to you. You've given a lot. You've connected to a lot of people in this. Back to you. Receive. I want you to stay in this energy. I'm still going to drop the self-reflection here. Don't feel like you have to move or get up or do anything. It will be here when you're done. But even reflecting in this moment as you breathe into your heart space, come back to in through the nose, out through the mouth, or whatever is feeling safe you, however you want to breathe. And just reflecting in this moment, what gifts do I bring to this planet and my community that can serve at this time? And you don't need to know this right away. Just consider that you're here for a reason. And when things feel like they're falling apart, perhaps you are the one who is meant to create something new and build something new. Just allow yourself to keep breathing and processing. Know that the first step in building something new in heartbreak and mending heartbreak is first connecting with who we are. At the core of all of this, beyond our roles, beyond our jobs, beyond our titles, we must connect with who we truly are and remember that. There we can create sustainable change. So I want to thank you all for being with me tonight. For those of you who joined live, for those of you who are watching the replay, for those of you who came in and exited, keep allowing yourself to receive this energy. You do not need to get up and do anything. I will slowly close out. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to serve you. And thank you for receiving what I believe are my gifts to help humanity work through really, really challenging times. I love each and every one of you, and I'm wishing you a beautiful evening. I'll see you at the next perfect time.
In the light of your grace, I